Let's say you wanted to completely ruin your country through policies alone. How exactly would you do that? Well, what we need to do is destroy the national confidence, weaken the economy, make life harder for families, and slowly convince the people that this decline is just something they're supposed to deal with. Seems pretty difficult, right? Well, clearly not for some countries and some governments. So here are my top 10 steps to ruin your country. Number 1, immigration. We need to bring in heaps of people, and I'm not talking about just a couple thousand. We need millions of people coming in every year and let this run for years and years and years. This makes sure that they don't have enough time to assimilate into the culture and they start forming their own little ethnic groups in and around the country. We want to make sure everyone feels at home, right? This also helps a ton with putting on insane pressure on all sorts of infrastructure like housing, hospitals, schools, and public transport. We want to make sure that no one has a pleasant experience with any of these areas, so no one wins. Not the residents or the immigrants. We want it to be a lose-lose situation. What you want is high immigration without the housing, without the infrastructure, without the roads, without the transport, without the services, and without any sort of serious public conversation about capacity. And then just tell everyone that you're trying to find solutions, but then you just keep the tap on and keep them coming. Number 2, give away your natural resources for free. If your country is lucky enough to be rich in resources, the last thing that you want to do is actually benefit from that properly. So what you want to do is dig the stuff up and then make sure to sell it straight away once it comes out of the ground. You don't want to refine it, you don't want to smelt it, because that's just going to raise the value, and we don't want that. We want to make sure that we are selling it for as cheap as possible and make sure our neighbors get all the value out of our resources. That way we get all the environmental impact like deforestation and habitat destruction, all the political compromise, and a little bit of short-term cash, which we'll put into some cash handouts here and there for our people to keep everyone happy. Who doesn't like some free money, right? What did you say? What happens when you run out? Well, I haven't really thought about that. I guess that's a problem for another day. Number 3, make energy expensive. Energy is the backbone of any successful nation. We want to make sure that people are paying the right price for the energy that they use. What we need to do is push for low efficiency energy sources and ban or take out any high efficiency ones like nuclear. It's alright. The energy will be zero emissions, so it's good for the planet. We just need a few bits and pieces out of the ground and, destroy a few forests along the way to install them. But once we're done, we will achieve net zero and be a few $100 billion in debt along the way. But again, that's a problem for another day. Why are the energy bills going up? Well, when it's not windy or sunny, it stops, so the price has to go up. A small price to pay to save the planet, right? That is real leadership. Number 4, destroy the environment. This one's pretty simple. Make sure you greenlight every single government project that destroys the natural environment. If it results in logging or deforestation, stamp it, approve it straight away. But make sure you brand yourself as someone who deeply cares for the environment, so the stuff that you build fixes the environment, but needs a little tweaking to Mother Nature. She won't mind if you knock a couple trees down, right? Also, it's for the planet, so it's fine. Number 5, and I think everyone is gonna love this. Tax, and you guessed it, more tax. Countries like Norway and the Netherlands have super high tax brackets, but their citizens have some of the best social benefits of any country in the world. Free education, free healthcare, amazing public services. We do not want that. We want the taxes, but do we really need all of those beneficial social programs for our citizens? I'm sure they wouldn't mind. So what we need to do is tax the citizens high enough that it gives us plenty of money, but not high enough that people start asking too many questions. And then when people do start getting a bit rowdy, just give them a few cash handouts from time to time. It always makes people happy. We need to make sure that we aren't building anything that creates long-term success. That means we actually have to invest the money into our future, and that doesn't really help anyone right now, so what's the point? Number 6, we need to ruin housing. This one is essential. If you really want to ruin a country, make sure young people can work hard, do the right thing, stay locked in, get an education, stay out of trouble, but still feel like they will literally never own a house. Because housing is the backbone of any good country. If your citizens literally can't afford one, then they're going to start delaying a lot of things, which is what we want. Now, this is especially important because if you're a politician, you probably own a couple investment properties, and we don't want to lose any money on our investments, right? Everything will be okay. Okay, renting is always an option, and it's cheaper anyway, right? Number 7, let monopolies and oligarchies run wild. The last thing you need in a failing country is plenty of competition in the market. You don't want sharp, hungry businesses fighting for better prices and better services for the people. What you really want is a small number of massive players who can charge more, innovate less, but still win. You want markets where normal people feel like every major industry is literally the same 3 companies, just wearing different hats. Think like banking, groceries, energy, telecoms, airlines. We need giant, crushing monopolies in every single industry. The more, the better. And if consumers feel trapped and the small businesses feel crushed, congratulations, my friend. You are on the path to a failing country. Number 8, stop making anything useful. If you really want to set a country back, one of the best ways is to make sure it stops producing anything valuable. This means manufacturing, refining, smelting, or building any sort of strategic capacity. You want to make sure if you're exporting goods that they're simple, they're basic, and they're very cheap. The last thing you want to do is actually create anything of value to the world, like medical devices or semiconductors or vehicles, because those actually help the world and cost a fair bit more, and we don't want that. The goal is just to become as dependent on everyone else as possible, especially for the important stuff. This is called efficiency. That way, when the world gets unstable, supply chains break, or global politics gets ugly, just like what's happening in Iran right now, your country can't do anything about it and everybody suffers. Again, it's not incompetence, it's efficiency. Number 9, make politics as hard as possible for small parties and independents. Now let's say some people are unhappy with the changes that you've made for some reason, and now they are running to make a change. Well, as the leaders of the country, you can push policies to make it impossible for anyone to run, especially if they're independent or a minor party. This ensures you never have any competition, except for each other. And if it's a democratic 2 major party system like Australia, let's be honest, we're both here for the same reason. You do this because you don't want fresh competition, you don't want strong independence, and you especially don't want minor parties with a bit of momentum. You want a system that looks democratic on paper, but in practice, it makes it as hard as possible for anyone outside the major machine to break through. And then everyone can keep pretending voters have loads of choice, while the same small circle keeps running the place. Number 10, expand national security powers quietly. Finally, to top it off, we want to make sure we get involved in everyone's lives. But don't worry, it's all about national security. So make sure you push bills to gain more information about your citizens and have the ability to detain or silence anyone who possibly speaks against you. Just a small price to pay for safety of everyone. It's especially important to push these national security laws as quickly as possible so no one notices, just like that new ASIO bill that they pushed last month. Check out my full video about that in the description below. We want to make sure we use as much legal language as we can so that no one actually wants to read it. And then make sure to always iterate that it's about protection and keeping everybody safe. And the next thing you know, we turn into the next North Korea, and we have full control over everything. Isn't politics great? So there you go. 10 simple steps to absolutely ruin your country. Obviously, this is all a joke, but unfortunately, this is what is happening in our governments and governments across the world every day. So make sure you subscribe so you never miss an upload, and to follow my journey into politics so that one day I become Prime Minister of Australia. If you think I missed anything, let me know in the comments below. Take care, and I'll see you in the next video.